All right. Mabibi na mabwana, karibuni tena to this edition of the One Mic Show. Na ni furaha kujiunga nanyi wapenzi wasikilizaji. We are streaming live on Facebook from Kilimanjaro Studios outside Washington DC. We are also live on YouTube, so please remember to share all our live streams. Now, later in the social segment, we continue with our World Cup series where we talk about the World Cup experience in the US, how it has changed over time, and has the US caught up on the sport. We'll also get a perspective from the ladies on what the World Cup experience is like for them. So ladies, be ready to call in and give us your scoop. Na bila kusahau, tutapokea mziki toka DJ wetu machachari mleta habari DJ OmoshFaya, na tutadunda kule viwanjani na Micah jezi yake nambari 7 mgongoni akituletea habari za michezo. So moja kwa moja toka Kilimanjaro Studios ni mimi mtangazaji na mwanahabari wako mpendwa Ali Badawy. Kwetu wananiita mteule na wengine mniite mjukuu wa Masai, because I'm Kenyan by blood, American by design, Masai by choice. Sichagui, sikagui na sibagui. Karibuni.
Now, let's talk politics.
Now this hour we'll be recapping 2022. What was your favorite? What were your favorite topics that we covered? Who was the most impactful guest? And what conversations were just boring or fell flat like a pancake? Yani mkate wa maji kwa Kiswahili. We also want you to remind us of our blind spots and important topics that we may have missed. You'll also tell us what guests you would have liked to see that we failed to host. So we want to hear from you tonight. So we want you to get onto the comment section. I can see Slay is already there. I can see Pablo. They're already giving us their favorite topics. We're going to read about them shortly. And I'm your producer and anchor, Ali Badawy. It's Friday the 18th of November, and we are coming to you live from Kilimanjaro Studios outside Washington, D.C. Please remember to subscribe to our One Mic Show YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram at One Mic Show. On panel with me tonight is Mr. Micah Makawa. We have our resident DJ OmoshFaya. Ruth is out tonight, and Micah will be joining us via Zoom. Our super producer is none other than Mubelwa Bandio, and he will also be joining us in studio tonight, hapo baadaye kidogo. And want to get started right away because we have a lot to cover tonight. Now, 2022 has actually been a very great year for the One Mic Show. We covered everything from the Kenyan elections to the US midterms. We also hosted a plethora of guests, including career experts, healthcare professionals, and even award-winning artist Ali Kiba. Now tonight, we'll be recapping the year with feedback from the audience. We want to know what were your favorite topics, what were the most impactful guests that we hosted, and what topics were plain, boring, or just fell flat like a pancake, yani mkate wa maji. Or want to hear from you tonight, so you can start typing right now in the comment section. I know some people are already doing that. We also want you to tell us where our blind spots were, what important topics we missed, and guests maybe that you would have liked to see that we failed to host. So we want you to get started. We want you to get busy on the keyboard right now. Tonight, we want you to be keyboard warriors.
Na
People always talk about...
Musiogope.
Yes, Musiogope. People always talk negatively about keyboard warriors. Tonight, this is your chance to be a keyboard warrior on the One Mic Show.
Please don't no. Be keyboard warriors huko batuku.
Yes.
Fungueni roho. Please.
Fungueni roho. And we'll be doing this recap in a 2-part series starting today, because I just realized we covered so much. We can't do all this in one episode.
Yeah, man.
And we'll complete this on our last episode of the year on the 2nd of December, which is going to be, again, the final episode. And just a quick reminder that we will not be on air on Thanksgiving weekend next Friday, because pia sisi lazima tukule Thanksgiving. Tiati tuko hapa kila wiki.
Lazima tuchape ile inaitwa gobo.
Yes.
Gobo.
Hapo kabisa. But before we get started, I first want to go to the panel with Micah. I want to start with Micah today. Micah, I want you to say hi to the audience and quickly tell us what were your favorite topics or episodes of the year, and which ones just left you like, wow, this was so amazing. Micah twende kazi.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's encore edition of the One Mic Show. Happy hour, karibuni. And to get straight into the topic, Ali, for me, I would say that in 2022 we had a vast majority of guests who came to see us, right? We had OTNOV, we had OTNOV here, we had Fatima Bari, when coming for the Moko candidates. But I would say, for me, my show, the best show that we actually had, it was a two-part show. Was it a two-part show? Yeah. It was the IBC. Because
Okay.
this was the first time that we had the IBC come and speak to people for the first time that we were going to do the diaspora voting. This was the first time people were voting, and the fact that the Electoral Commission decided to come and try to talk to people, to reach out to the people and explain to them, talk to them, and educate them on the electoral process and how it's going to happen, what's going to happen. For me, that was our best show because we basically acted as a bridge to the community. We say we are a diaspora show. We want to be a bridge between the diaspora and back home. And there was nothing that I felt was close.
Okay, asante sana Micah. So Micah really loved the IBC, and how we got to ask them questions and how they broke down things. Because it was initially, we hosted IBC twice. During the registration, Joyce Ekwam was here, and then we also had another official during right before the election. So we hosted IBC twice, and I want to quickly go to the comments here because I see like comments already coming on people who already have picked their favorite shows. Nasle, I think alikuwa namuona Mubelu hapo bandio akicheza, alikuwa anamtaka arudi kwa camera. I think in that segment, I think that's a segment, because we about experimentation. I think that's a segment that I think people can vote on. If they want Mubelu bandio to be dancing while OmoshFaya is playing the music. If fans demand that, then we have to do it.
Anaonekana as we speak, but carry on.
Yeah, we have to do it. Fans demand it, we have to do
Na
it.
Abebe Sukaria kutoka wapi?
Kutoka
Kagera.
Haya, sawa. na Ronnie Manene hapa is watching. Ron, karibu sana. Washeke, karibu sana. Yeah, so let me start with Pablo here.
Huyo Ronnie Manene kwanza huyo.
Yes.
No. Hold on. In fact, let me spotlight myself. Wewe Ronnie Manene wewe. You.
Haya, inbox.
You.
Hiyo story ya
Boss.
inbox.
We
Hiyo story
Mika
ya
tunakusikia.
Yeah.
We
Mika.
Mika, kuja pole pole
We,
baada.
nike
Mweke mute.
Haya, amejimute.
Amejimute sawa.
Okay.
We Ronnie Manene wewe. Ron you.
Haya, Ronnie Manene, ingia inbox.
360 wewe.
Kwani amefanya
Ingia
nini?
inbox. Sijui kama unamdai
Hapana.
ama anakudai. Ingia ni inbox.
Anatudai. He's like, oh, I'll come. I would like to come. Sijui what nini ameongea na huyu bandio sijui nini what. Wewe Ron.
Haya, sawa.
Uache usaitan.
So yeye na DJ Tucha wako WhatsApp group moja.
Hapa.
Okay,
Behamwe.
sawa. You hata tutaongea baadaye.
Nonsense.
So let me read some comments on Pablo anasema the Alikiba show was fire. And then
He's gone fast forward.
Yes, he's gone fast forward. Yeye hata jangoja. And then hapa Slay anasema last week's show on FIFA was fire. I actually watched the documentary on Netflix that Mukurima recommended.
Apparently there's two.
Yes, there's two documentaries. There's actually multiple documentaries.
Wait. What do you mean there's two?
There's multiple documentaries.
There's one hot one on YouTube.
No, on YouTube.
Yes.
I know
And
the
then there's
Uncovered,
now-
FIFA Uncovered.
Then there's Sasa Nayo ya Netflix.
No,
Okay.
that one I know. Kwani there's one, which is
And Al Jazeera has its
Boss.
own documentaries of
Son
their own
of a
version of the
twang
story.
guys. Atiatia.
So let's go back.
And
Yeah.
you couldn't even share with me blood fucking.
Yeah, so let's go back to Slay's comment. It says, Slay also says, also the show with Alikiba was fire. Having people call in and just in awe of speaking to him, that was amazing. Yeah. Please feature Kenyan American teens in sports, and also Brown Sugar recommended a show on suicide amongst our teens. Yeah, and this has come as a very big recommendation.
Times. But
Washeke has recommended this too.
Yes.
And
So we need to
actually.
Yeah.
We've actually covered these topics before.
We did.
Yes, we
But
did.
maybe I guess
All studio.
with
But like Ali said,
with the way things are happening now,
Yeah. We
have
need to
to.
revisit.
we
will
need to
come
revisit,
back.
but
We'll come
also
back, yeah.
like I think we've had this before. We've discussed this before where we've said we want to get a subject matter expert,
yes.
but also somebody who is culturally sensitive.
Yes.
Correct.
That is most important,
Yeah.
because you have to understand. Like now, you know how we say, your boy falls down. Where? Amka, wacha jikaze.
Yeah.
Wacha kulia, unalia we ni nini?
Pull up your socks.
Pull up your socks. You know, stuff like that.
And then also what Annette also told me with these conversations, it's important to have, like maybe younger Kenyans who were born here or grew up here to get their perspective too. Because, like when we speak to each other, sometimes we're speaking from our own points of view.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it's about assembling the correct panel. Once we've assembled the correct panel, we have all perspectives, the experts and the people who are experiencing being teased in the US.
Yes.
Then I think we can
because
can
that
have a very great
conversation needs to be
conversation.
had.
Yes.
So should we put a feed out there for chaps to lend us the kids? Just asking for a friend.
No, and there are
I
people.
wouldn't say
No,
that
it's
for
true.
one show though.
Sorry,
Tunahitaji a panel.
yes,
We need somebody in the panel.
we need somebody in the panel. Like the expert, the kid, and then of course us who are
Me, I
coming
have
from
a
another
recommendation,
different
but I don't-
perspective. So those are the things that I want. Someone should be writing this down. These are the things that we're gonna have
Slay Washeke, sorry.
for next year.
Yes.
Umesema na Omosh.
Omosh anajijua.
Super producer, super
Yeah.
producer
Super
anaandika.
producer kuna Byro.
Okay, and then another comment here, coming from Pablo, anasema Slay, I propose that you join the OneMic show panel.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right, that will be interesting.
No, Slay.
Tutoka tuna dance
Slay.
pamoja.
No, it's
Yeah.
either me or her.
Yeah.
We can't.
Okay, and
Then
Then it's her.
and then
Boss.
Then it's her.
Basi
slow.
wacha
They don't need
nijipange
you.
wacha nijipange nitoke niende. Wacha nijipange nitoke
Yeah.
niende.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
and then kuna malalamishi inakuja kutoka kwa Pablo, anasema this year you haven't read comments za mashabiki sana, so that's something that we're going to improve on. As you can
Yeah.
see, we're already
We're-
improving
yeah,
right
we're
now.
trying, we're
yeah.
trying.
So tupatie
The
your
fact
credit,
that we
Pablo.
actually read it,
Yeah.
Pablo,
Uh-huh.
in fact, normally
No,
these are the
no.
ones that what
No, Pablo wants his comments read by Ruth, so we know.
Okay,
we know
okay.
what's
Mtu
happening.
anarusha uppercut.
so
Yeah.
he's on your brackets.
No, we can't guarantee that every week, but where Ruth is not there, we will be a representation of
Atakuwa
Ruth.
nazisoma alafu tunasema kwa voice note.
So
Okay, Pablo
he's on
umesikia.
your boardmas za Pablo.
Yeah.
Brackets off.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
but we can have like Omosh or maybe Ali read the Pablo's comments if Ruth is not here.
Alafu hapa there's
carry
another comment, like I was planning to talk about this later, but it has already come up. Slay anasema there have been episodes where there were some sound issues. So ndawacha hiyo comment hapo bandio ntaka tu ingie. Maybe talk about some of the challenges, because you're not on camera most of the time. And when sound issues happen, people don't see you sweating on the other side with what's going on. So bandio labda tuelezee yani huko kwa
Maybe he
background.
sweats on the equipment.
No, huko kwa background ni mambo gani inaendelea ndo watu wapate understand, because this year I think we had to actually abandon 2 shows.
Okay.
Cancel 2 shows kwa sababu
Maka
ya issues za
Mutua
sound.
think it's
and
more than
somebody
2.
else. And
Yeah.
Cliff Okoth, yeah.
Yeah, Cliff Okoth, and then
And
there
then
was
Maka
another one.
Mutua.
Yeah, and a good thing he did not show up. So there are 2 or maybe even 3 shows.
I think it was 3.
Yeah,
I
that
think
may
there
have
were
been
3
cancelled
shows.
because of sound issues. So bandio acha ndakuacha uaddress hiyo issue.
Oh, ngoja hapa natafuta email kutoka Wirecast.
Okay, na Wirecast kwa wale ambao wajui, maybe Uno you can tell
So
listeners what Wirecast
so
is.
Wirecast for us is the broadcasting software that we use that is part of. So what you guys are able to see right now is courtesy of Wirecast.
All the
software
images,
is
the voice, everything that comes across.
That's what we mix,
broadcasting.
is our mixer, yes.
so it's a broadcasting software. And by the way, come to find out, even Dr. Omanwa, not Dr. Kireki, but Dr. Omanwa. At one
Okay.
point in their church, they used to use this software, so he's familiar with this software. But then they
during,
upgraded to another
COVID.
one that is
Okay.
about to do $70,000.
Okay.
Just say, lakini kama kuna mafanza kina Slay, mnaweza tutupia hiyo ya 70,000.
So we need to give Slay our cash app. is what you're saying.
Yes, then
Okay.
she can sambaza. So sometimes
Let me be nice to her. Slay, you might be welcome.
So using the software and by the way, these are not excuses. We're just
We're just saying,
we're just
like
saying
what,
that these are the challenges
yeah.
that we can we as we grow, we experience the system and the requirements. We believe we have the recommended plus
Okay.
plus hardware for the system to work. Sometimes the software and the updates that happen on the update provide a glitch. that sometimes it's not the fault of the system here, but those guys who are doing the updates, that they provide an update, then we update the software. We're thinking it's going to make it better. Produces
and you test and everything is fine.
We test and everything is fine.
Yeah.
And right as soon as we start
Broadcasting.
nemo hadhara ile ya ajabu.
Okay, wacha tumsikie
But
Bandio sasa.
to get the proper definition and everything from the subject matter expert, who this guy is on another level. Mubera Badi or Bandit, oh sorry, mulikuwa Mubesh.
Baba Paulina and
Baba
then
Paulina.
kuna ile nyingine hiyo ni yetu ndo anaweza kusema.
Rastwin.
All right,
So is he defining muhadhara?
He's defining muhadhara.
Okay.
Issue ya sauti, kwanza tuambie, I wish tungeweza kupan watu wakaweza kuiona studio siku moja, lakini acha tu kwa hiyo hapa kwa wasioona tuna kamera 4. Sawa?
Ndio
Kuna kamera 4. Kwa hiyo kwanza nilo anayoangalia. Kuna kamera hapa ambayo inaonyesha Omosh na Ali. Kuna kamera pale nyingine ambayo inaonyesha Ali original ambayo sasa ndio niko mimi na kamera pale.
Son of a twang, guys.
Hilo ni jambo la kwanza, lakini pia tuna microphones, wanaona kuna microphones 5. Kwa hivi vyetu vyote hivi vina run kwenda under the board, vina booster, vinaingia katika mixer, alafu vitakwenda kwenye wirecast, kutoka kwenye wirecast ndio tunaipeleka kwenda kwenye
I hope you're not giving away trade secrets, because there's some other suckers.
Hey.
So
they've tried before.
Okay, sorry.
Issue inakuja, tulipata issue mara kadhaa. Kwanza ilikuwa ni umeme. Kwa sababu tuna share building.
Kenya tunaita stima.
Sasa kwenye stima jinsi ambavyo imeunganishwa imeunganishwa kutoka chumba kimoja kwenda kingine
ready kilowatt.
So I don't remember ilikuwa ni show gani, lakini nafikiri we tried everything, bado tulikuwa tuna hamu.
Okay.
Yes.
Na ambapo tumenunua vifaa vingine, kwa hiyo chini ya meza hapa pana cable za kutoka DC mpaka Baltimore. Yaani hapa chini hapa. Kwa hiyo tumeweka vifaa mbalimbali vya kuondoa ham na vitu vingine, tumefanya setup mpaka tukaja tukapata na tumeweka mixer mpya. Unfortunately nimefanya tuende bankruptcy maana hiyo, lakini
you just had to do that.
Lakini nachosema ni kwamba unfortunately kulikuwa kuna matatizo ambayo mengi yalikuwa nje ya uwezo wetu.
Okay.
Tulianza na swala la umeme. Tulijaribu kwa contact, lakini tunaendelea kupata ham, tumeweka ham eliminators, bado tukaendelea kupata hiyo. Lakini tulikuja tukapata shida ambayo ilikuwa kwenye software yenyewe, na baada ya kuwa tumewaandikia couple of times, wewe ukisoma utasoma kama yule nani. Nikwambia usome utasomea kama CJ.
Okay, sasa
hiyo juu ya hiyo alizungumza, hiyo ni kutoka kwa engineers. Baada ya kuwa tumecomplain for weeks.
Okay.
Akaja
So engineer anasema, good news, the engineering team has identified the issue you were experiencing and are implementing a fix. The fix should be included in version 15.2 when it's released. I will be sure to alert you when this version is released. Please let me know if you have any questions in the meantime. Thanks, Robbie. I think Robbie ni engineer.
Robbie ni engineer kutoka Wirecast. Kwa hiyo ninachotaka kusema ni kwamba hakujawa na matatizo sababu ya studio.
Okay.
Tumekuwa na matatizo kwa sababu ya software ambayo it's out of control. Tulikuwa na matatizo kwa sababu ya umeme.
Software na kichwangumia Omosh.
Lakini pia kwa una shida ya umeme. Lakini above that, tumeweza ku mitigate, tumeweka vitu vingine, tumebadilisha namna ambavyo tuna transfer sauti kutoka kwenye mixer kwenda kwenye software. So far nafikiri, like I say, tunapata sauti moja kati ya sauti bora zaidi nimepata kuwa nazo kwa miaka 21 nimefanya kazi kwenye radio.
Okay, so I think that's a good explanation.
So Robbie amekusaidia ama wewe ndio ulijisaidia?
Sasa kusema nimejisaidia kwa Kiswahili, kwa Tanzania ni kitu
kingine. I know, kujisaidia kitu kingine tofauti.
Pole, sorry.
Lakini tulitafuta suluhisho la muda mfupi, lakini baada ya kuambia couple of times kwamba kuna issue kwao, finally wamekuja wameagree kwamba wao wanatatizo, kwa hiyo watakuja kuupdate baadaye.
Okay.
In IT terms, it's a non-issue.
Okay. Sawa. So that's a good explanation, like from Bandio. So those are some of the things. That's an abbreviated version of what happens. And then Slayer anaendelea kusema, then on politics session, especially when talking on politics, to be specific elections here in the US, you can touch on elections in other states as well, other than just Maryland, which I totally agree with Slay. I mean, of course, we live in Maryland, but this is something that I personally have to be more conscious about when preparing for the show, and when preparing the panel for the show. This is something that we also have to read about, and I think to do that better, we'll need to be integrating people
with our audience.
We have a very
a
big
very wide
listenership
audience,
in Texas.
Yes,
We have a big listenership in California. We have listenership in
But we
Washington
always ask them
State.
to call, though.
Yes.
I mean,
So-
they're scared.
You know, Ali,
Yes.
Ali
Micah.
Bandio, and Mike. I have a suggestion here,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Why don't you do this on topics that you know that are covering more than Maryland, right? Topics that are covering other states in the Americas. Why don't we let this? Our audience, why don't you send us topics, especially that you feel that affect you, that you want us to discuss on, then we can research on them and talk about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One idea I've always had, all our super fans, especially, I mean, right now we have so many other fans on YouTube, but you guys on Facebook are very special because you're here with us live when we're doing this. I think one thing that we've talked about, we've never done, is that we're going to create a WhatsApp group ya watu tu wa hapa, wale watu tunaona kila siku. This is going to be a special group. Si mtu wowote kuingia, whereby you could be, like in real time, like during the week, like telling us, man, showing you last week, it was madogo dhanyo ilikuwa bure kabisa. The show was very good, but I think you guys need to talk about this and that. I think when we have that constant connection, we're gonna do like a little bit better in being in touch with what the viewers and the listeners want to hear and want to tell us. Because also on YouTube we now have like since that Alikiba show, we've had a spike in Tanzanian like viewers. They're also giving us their suggestions, like uko kwa comments. So we're going to incorporate all this together, and we promise
Does
that
that
we're
mean
going
I
to
have to
improve.
learn Swahili?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we teach you every day, but bado jatosha mboga.
I think you're learning. Retaining is another problem. But
Yes. Okay. And then Pablo anamwambia Mika, namshukuru Mika because Mika has kept off our beloved Lakers. Na hiyo tutachia tu hapo. And then okay.
Oh my
And
God.
then Slay anasema, other than that, you guys do a great job to be honest. So thank you so much, Slay. And then Pablo anasema, the show on reproductive health was fantastic too. I got to learn a lot about women's reproductive health issues. So that was also, I agree with Pablo. That was
is
another
on
amazing
fast
show.
forward. This guy
Yes.
is just on fast forward.
Yes, but that was also
yes.
another amazing show. And then let me see. And then when anasema, when we come on set, OneMic akae kando kidogo. I don't know exactly what that means. Pablo, be more specific. type up useme kukaa kando inamaanisha nini.
He's just hating.
And then Slay anasema, and we want comments, no, most of these are coming from Slay and Pablo, but we also want comments from other people who are watching. But Slay and Pablo,
they
keep
can
them
call
coming
in as well.
Keep them coming. And then Slay anasema, one more thing, when Mubelo Bandio had a section on the air crash in Tanzania, that was amazing as well. But maybe if possible, we can have an official or an expert also talk about aviation safety issues and what is being done or things like that. Now, here's the interesting thing, Slay. Mubelwa ni super producer hapa, but he's also an expert
aviation expert
in the aerospace industry. Yeah, yuko studio the whole day. Unajua, I think watu wanamwona Bandio wanafikiria wanakaa hapa, analala, anakula breakfast hapa, anaamka na nini, but he has a day job. He's an aviation expert, and that's the analysis that he came with was actually an expert opinion. But I agree with you, Slay, like on certain topics, there's some topics where we need technical experts who can explain some of these things to us.
expound.
Yes, expound rather. And then Pablo anasema hapa, is it possible to reduce the period between sports na social segment? Please, it would help keep the momentum of the show going. I have noticed viewers are plenty in the first segment, alafu the other segment they drop. My opinion on the numbers. Now, this is something that I've actually also given thought, and this is, and maybe the rest of the panel has to opinion, and you have given it thought in terms of the flow of the show and just the
Arrangement.
sequencing, the arrangement of the
rundown.
show. And this is something that we can definitely work on. You know, the good thing about the hit or miss segment is very interesting, but I think what Pablo is saying is that it might slow down that momentum of conversation. So kama tunaweza kuweka hit or miss after social segment, these are things that we can talk about. And maybe Omosh, Bandio, what are your opinions on what Pablo is saying?
You know, hit or miss is a very interesting section, right? I guess the whole point is between sports and social segment, you have between you have the sports segment, then you have music, and then we go into our social segment, right?
Sorry,
And
say that again.
so we have sports, we have hit or miss, and then we go into social.
That's what we normally do.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what Pablo is saying is that from the time you hit sports to
Yeah.
the time you hit the social segment,
Yeah, there's a
he
period.
feels it's too long
Yeah.
because he's, he wants
He wants to keep it going.
to keep it going.
Like an Energizer Bunny.
If you try to put anything after,
Yeah.
chances are you're not going to get to it
Okay.
because that segment by itself normally just it has wings. It just goes.
Yeah.
And because we have the leeway towards the end of the show, which we've been making a leeway and really we shouldn't, then we are able to continue with that particular segment.
Yeah.
So maybe the thought would be to lessen the time between these two segments,
No, I
sports and music,
yes, I think that's something that we can debate about as we go.
where we would do,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe hit or miss would
But
be
you know,
2 songs.
Ali,
Yes, Mika.
what my thought process is after
Hey.
the politics.
Hey, Mika, you're breaking up.
Check your internet.
My internet is good. Can you hear me?
Okay, now we can hear you.
No, I've always been for the thought process of like, when you come from the politics segment, then we go to music, then we go to sports, then we go to hit and miss, then we go to social segment. I agree with Pablo. It's such a long time whereby you lose the momentum. I've always thought in the other segments should be sort of like a combined thing. Depending on what we're discussing that day, we segue from one segment to another without any breaks. Now, instead of the music break, we come from the politics. Then we go to the hit and mix. Then the social segment, depending on how it is, can be combined with the sports segment, or one of the like the way you did the World Cup thing and combine both segments.
Yes.
We can always try to do something like that. Like we try to fix all together, so we don't seem like we're having breaks in so many segments. It's just a flow of a show.
Okay. All right, good. So that's something we're going to talk about. Bandio, kuna maybe kitu ya kuongezea from hii opinion ya Pablo hapa on the flow of the show.
Huyo Pablo anaingilia nini yangu?
No, I think Pablo anachosema, well, they're the consumers, right? Wao ndio tunawafanyia na it doesn't matter sisi tuna feel vipi, wao ndio watu kwanza, lakini nafikiri amezungumza facts hapo, umeona numbers. What I can say, nafikiri inawezekana ni approach ya points. Unajua kwenye production, ukiwa unaangalia kwenye production point of view, waje nakwambia there's no bad stories, only bad storytellers.
Okay.
Kwa hiyo chances ni kwamba kuna watu ambao I believe issue kama ya World Cup, si kwamba World Cup ilikuwa topic nzuri sana. Approach yetu kuelekea kwenye World Cup ndio ilikuwa nzuri. Unajua
Yeah.
Interview ya Ali Kiba, sio kwamba ukisikiliza kwa undani sana utagundua kwamba ilikuwa maswali hayakuwa maswali ambayo hajawahi kuulizwa, ila jinsi alivyokwenda. Kwa nafikiri kuna vitu vya kuangalia, flow yenyewe, content ambayo tunakwenda nayo, na pia ningependa sana kama alivyosema Mika, sama tuanze kupata ideas kutoka kwao.
Okay.
Nini ambacho napenda kufanya, kwa sababu kila kitu tunafanya. Lakini one thing ningetaka kusema kuhusiana na show ni kwamba I think we come a long way.
We have.
we've come a long way kutoka kwenye flow, watu hawaoni, tuna run down hapa jinsi ambavyo tunagombana kuhakikisha kwamba kila kitu kinakwenda sawa, you know. Lakini hii ndio kitu ambacho tuna appreciate sana kutoka kwa jinsi ambavyo tuliondoka. Kwa hiyo nakubaliana naye kwamba kuna kitu cha kufanya, we have to do something, lakini ni nini hicho sasa ndio tutaangalia, lakini hiyo ndio promise, ni kwamba 2023 itakuwa fire and hopefully itakuwa non-stop.
Okay.
Tuta switch baadhi ya vitu, tutakuja na slogan tofauti, maybe itakuja na flyers tofauti na mambo mengine, lakini nafikiri 2023 itakuwa moto.
Okay, absolutely. Then Pablo also says, what was the name of the guy that had his picture found by the feds at the airport? It would be nice to bring him on set atuchapia story. I think
mwache uno mseme alafu atakosema.
Yeah, ebu sema ni nani, unamkumbuka ni nani kwanza?
Hapana, hapo nilimesema.
Yeah, I know.
Tuheshimiane bro.
Atataja mtu mwingine.
Yeah,
you know what? It was Mubelo Bandio.
No, it wasn't Mubelo Bandio. It was Stephen JJ from Dallas. Stephen JJ from Dallas, and I think that was one of our best random segments, and that's why we love people calling in. It was one of our best random segments that we had not planned for it. We did not know about it, but it just happened and people really liked it. And Stephen JJ, kama unatusikiza, you know, give us your comments hapo chini pia on whether utakuja Kilimanjaro kama vile mafans hapa wamedai. Micah.
But Ali, another thing that I really like, and I like the fans interaction on the comment section. But you know, sometimes also on the show, with Stephen Jijali call and a Liven Up show, I will just ask some of our fans. Pigeni simu, acheni kuogopa.
Yes.
It's we want that interaction with you. We want you to sometimes, you know, sometimes we plan a show, then a fan says something. Tunaanza kuwinyio show hapo. Like so many times we have to change what we planned. We have our programs of designed ourselves, and then the conversation shifts and we have to go with that. And I like that because some of the time, most of those shows come out and they just like, I will tell you the thing about Alikiba's show. We planned the show. The show took its own way.
Yes.
Like it grew its own feet and it walked. And that's why it was one of our best shows, because on guidelines, nobody felt like they have to stick to something. It was just like a conversation, and that's what we want with our fans.
Yes, absolutely.
A conversation with you guys.
So yes, and then also Pablo is talking about getting sponsors for the show. You know, we are still looking for sponsors. If you know any, send them our way, and we're gonna be official. Tutakuwa na makash up na nini. So msijali, those of you wenye mkona, you know, you've been listening to us and you feel like you know, watu kuna kakiru ntaka kuwatumia, we want to do this. Yes, we want to do this in a very official way.
Actually.
So yeah, so stay put, Micah.
Nasema wacha tutoboe siri.
Haya.
So it's wacha tutoboe siri. Next year when you're coming back, it's a registered entity, a tax-paying entity. Everything's going to be official. Everything's going to be done by a government. The OneMic show is a registered company from next year when it comes back.
So meskia, you know, so if you know any sponsors, and we're gonna have a red card and everything, you know, like and we're gonna give priority to people who listen to us. So yes, we're looking into this because we want to make sure that this keeps running in itself. We've been running it from out of our pockets as zingine zinaumia, watu tunakosana hapa nini, but hopefully we're going to get to a point.
Kunitaja, unasikia? Tuheshimiane hapa boss.
No. We are going to get to a point where we're going to get to a point where at least at the bare minimum that nothing is coming out of our pockets to run the show.
Hold on. Utaacha kunitaja sawa bro?
Mimi sijataja mtu
wote. No one has said anything.
Mimi sijataja mtu wote.
Unaniangalia kusema hivyo.
Mimi sijataja mtu wote. Mimi wanaangalia kila mtu.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
No, relax.
We're going to move from having one employee to having more than 10 employees.
Yes.
Ala.
Sawa.
Bandia ko tayari, okay, sawa.
So want you to stay tuned for that. Yeah, so easy comments have kept us going. We've not even gotten to the actual recap.
Meat and potatoes.
So now we started the year with a bang actually in the last week of January by hosting Kenya's Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission for an interview on diaspora voter registration. In February, we interviewed career expert Lavera Lukune on how to manage your career. Yes, it was February. And on this same month, we also interviewed Kenyan Grammy nominee Muzi from Jabali, Africa. In the social segment, we covered topics such as Samabani experiences, men's conference and Valentine's Day, platonic parenting, Bitcoin and digital currencies, among many other topics.
Bitcoin, ndio FTX.
And then, ndo hiyo FTX, hiyo hapo imezama. And then in sports, we covered Kenyan tennis star Angela Okutoi.
FXT, sorry.
We talked about racism in US sports leadership, and then the ban on Kenyan football by FIFA and the Champions League finals being stripped away from Russia. So that was just January and February. Those are some of the topics that we covered. And I want to remind the audience that, remember, we are looking for your favorite topic, your most impactful guest, your least favorite or most boring topics. Hizo pia mtuambie ndo tujue.
Kuna topic moja hapa mitaji.
Yes, and we also want, the audience to critique us on our bright and blind spots and important topics that we may have missed. We further also want you to tell us about guests that we should have hosted but failed to do so. So Bandio, tuambie ni topic gani hiyo hapo imekuwa mentioned.
Mention hapa. Halafu kuna mtu alikuwa na hoodie ya OneMic na bado tunangoja ya raia.
Hapana, hiyo ni exclusive. Hiyo ni exclusive. Hiyo mtu akitaka.
Boss, that was not me, that was this guy.
Hiyo ni exclusive.
Huo mtu amekuja. That must be Slay.
No, yeah.
Amekuja. I've not even looked at
No one else but Jaber.
Yeah.
Hey, Slay.
No. Hiyo hoodie ya OneMic. In fact, hapa I was being accused that it's unauthorized merchandise.
Kwa hiyo the chances zinaweza zikatengenezwa hoodies.
Yeah.
Alafu zikawa kwenye YouTube shop.
Unajua nini?
Yeah.
Shida hata si hoodie. Pachana na hoodie. Mimi na Omosh tutasema hivi kulikuwa na cartel. Kuna mmoja alikuwa na hoodie, mwingine alikuwa na t-shirt.
Unauthorized merchandise.
Na wale wana na Micah wale all I'm gonna say is not me or you. Wajijazie.
Okay, sawa. Tutafanya uchunguzi. Tutafanya upekuzi.
It was not me or Micah.
Kwenye root.
Ama Bandio before Ruth joined.
Who was wearing a t-shirt?
Space elimination.
Password. Next year merchandise mtapata.
Pap vikombe cake show.
Yes, merchandise.
Na mununue mutiga wana.
Yeah. So yes. quickly back on these topics that we had in the first segment. I already had some chat about Bitcoin. The
FTX, is it FXT?
At that time.
Ina F na X na T.
No, by the way, because when ulikuwa mazee ulikuwa unachapa watu makumbo.
No, at that time, like Bitcoin mambo yake ilikuwa inapanda panda. But of course, Bitcoin was being looked at as a new kind of thing.
Yes.
And a lot of people, especially the much younger crowd.
We should have said cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency, yeah. A lot of people, especially the younger crowd, were looking at us, those of us who are experts in the financial industry, and telling us that we are old school. Hatujui hizi vitu mpya. But the funny thing is that investments such as Bitcoin are not new. We've had different ones that came in a different style. Similarly, when something goes up that fast, definitely
bubble.
It's a bubble. It's gonna crash at some point. And to me, I think I always tell people, the people who've been in it for the long haul, watu waliingia 2014 wako sawa bado. Watu ambao waliungua ni wale watu ambao, the Johnny Come Latelys. The ones who, vitu vina panda and they tried to, catch up on that. So I think, with what has happened with FTX, a lot of Bitcoin holders have had to pay school fees. In the investment world, we call this school fees. Where umekuwa cautioned, lakini ukakata kusikia, so that loss you got, consider that school fees. Just consider that. Just imagine that you went and studied a course, because once you get hit in the market, that's when, you sober up. That's when you sober up. I know people who've lost $30,000, $50,000. That's when you have such a loss, that's when you sober up and you start getting to learn about investments. Naona kuna comments bado
That was my favorite.
By the way,
zinakuja.
Slay ameniwakilisha.
Yeah.
so I think Slay wakilisha,
Slay
including
ameniwakilisha.
me.
Yeah. Slam amesemaje nimemiss hizo comments.
Please do a show on edibles
Edibles
again.
again.
That was lit.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
among others,
with explanations or without?
Before we go that, back to crypto, because I know I don't want us to lose track, but by Slay, even me, I was like,
Wow.
edibles? That guy?
Ya kutaka kulala na
But you
kusimama
know
at
what?
the same time.
No, what do you call that guy? The Grim Reaper.
Malakul Maut.
Malakul Maut.
In Gekoyo weze ate modo wako kako hada kina
Malaika wa kifo.
malaika wa kifo.
Lakini ngojeni. Unajua mlikuwa mnataka niongea hapa.
Sawa kadhe.
Mnaufala sana.
Nike kadhe.
Wacha niwaambie kimoja. Unajua kimoja ni mimi huambia mpaka leo. I've never made a loss in crypto.
Now, before you there's a okay, I've been given something here. Many former crypto millionaires are now low-key Uber drivers. The only time it makes sense to put a 100% of your savings into a one place is when you're operating that company.
No.
AKA, hold on. No, let me finish. AKA startup. And that is also risky, but at least you're in control.
Unajua nini? Uno.
Yeah, yes. No. I was reading a comment.
Uno. Ali always says one thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about crypto. You always swali moja.
Yes.
Did you invest your savings or did you invest money you felt you can lose?
Agreed.
Yes, that's
Agreed.
very important.
Very
Yes.
important.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
shouldn't that be the rule of thumb for investment?
And
That's not what
unajua-
people do.
Unajua nini? Unajua the day, unajua when I entered crypto. Hata wewe pia ulikuwa unaambiwa ingie crypto kakataa. Hiyo 2013. Right?
But that's
When Bitcoin was $2,000.
Yes,
No, you remember that conversation. You remember that conversation pretty well. Right?
Yeah.
But
Tuendelee.
I will
Finish your story, guys.
No,
What
Okay,
about
no, I will tell you what. No.
Shut up.
What I'm trying to say is this: I'm an investor in crypto, and I'll agree. Yes, a lot of people bought crypto, just like if you've noticed, the companies that are firing people right now
Yeah.
were all going to blockchain, AI, and AI technology.
big data?
Basically metaverse, and most of the companies that are firing people, what, Twitter, Facebook, Amazon, Google, because during 2020 the world thought that we are not going to be in that sphere whereby we're seeing each other. We saw a spike on virtual living, which is supposed to be predicted as something that's supposed to happen in the future, coming into fruition at that particular time because of COVID. And at that time, companies that were dealing in no contact products in whatever essence saw a growth that was abnormal to them, hired excessively to run out new products that have been proved right now in this year because there's a correction that it was wrong and they lost billions of dollars. That is why we are seeing even crypto coming down right now.
Yeah, and I also think
Will
Micah,
we see blockchain technology picking up? Yes. Crypto, 90% of crypto is run by major banks. Even though we say crypto is supposed to be something that is not controlled, It's the major investment banks that actually own crypto, not people.
Sasa Mika, hii topic, I think we need to revisit it again in 2022 and incorporate it with
23.
2023.
Actually, not 23. Ali, I will say one thing. The moment the stock market as it is right now corrects itself, then crypto will come back. If you're gonna talk
Okay.
about crypto,
Yeah.
wait for 2024, 25.
Okay. So
For now,
yeah. Yeah.
hold what you have. Don't sell what you have.
And here's the thing that I'm also going to tell people from experience as we transition from this conversation. I think we're going to have more of this next year. Don't hold anything for 5 days that you can't hold for 5 years. And another thing,
True.
nobody knows what's going to happen in the market. No one.
True.
No one, you know. So when you get some experts anakwambia ati hii nunua hii tenda hivi, nobody knows. So and if you don't if you don't understand a product, don't touch it. Don't feel shy.
Ali,
Usione ati kwamba ati you have lack of if you don't understand a product, hata kama ni stock na huielewi, just don't touch it. It's that plain and simple.
Ali,
Make a real quick and
a
then tumalize.
there's a statement we usually say something about time. You cannot outthink time, or there's a statement usually used to you like saying about the stock market and investment
No,
and everything.
you cannot. It's about time in the market and not timing the market. You know, like if you stay in the market for a long time, you're guaranteed. That's the only guarantee. You stay in the market for a long time, it's guaranteed to go up. But when you try to time, atiwacha ni buy hii saizi ndo itaenda juu, you will get banned. You know, like and we have, you know, like people who are experts who've tried to do that and we've seen them get banned.
Tips za Micah kwa hiyo maybe 2023 2024.
Yes. So those are topics that we are gonna cover, you know, like when it comes to when we get to next year. And then I think, you know, like also moving on a bit further here, you know, because we're running out of time. In the month of March, our schedule was guest heavy. We hosted a candidate for Montgomery County Council, Ms. Fatmata Bari, who is also an immigration lawyer. We also interviewed dietitian and nutritionist Ms. Anita Gadogo on a conversation about nutrition beyond weight loss. In addition, we interviewed Jeffrey Chui from Minnesota, who was an aspirant for the Kisii County Senate seat. Remember, it was election season at that time. And in the same month in sports, we talked about LA Sevens, sanctions against Roman Abramovich and the Chelsea Football Club. And we also covered the World Cup qualifiers that were going on then. Now, other stories that we covered included in the month of March, that is, included Diamond's Netflix reality show. And then there was hate speech amongst Kenyans in the diaspora, and the border menace and security threat in Kenya. Now, I want to remind the audience,
Yes.
we're looking for your favorite topic. Out of these topics that we've just run on right now, tell us which was your favorite, your most impactful guest, your least favorite or boring topics. Also tell us those. We also want you to critique us on our bright and blind spots and important topics that we missed, that we did not cover. We further also want you to tell us about guests that we should have hosted, but we failed to do so. So start getting busy again in the comments. Slay, Pablo, Ras, and everybody else who's on the comment. Koitalel, please tell us, talk to us, because we are trying to collect this information. Uno.
Let me start by saying, you know, I think nutrition with Anita.
Yes.
Anita Gadogo. I
Yes.
think big shout out by the way. Anita, big shout out. I think it is important sometimes to understand nutrition. It is very good to understand what is good, what is not bad. And when you have somebody who comes in and makes it, you know, when she broke it down and said, cook with your child. You too.
Yeah.
Cook with your child, encourage your child. Let's do this, bro. Sometimes when you make your child cook with you, the chances are they'll eat what they make.
Yes.
Not eat what you make, but if they made it,
Yes.
whatever they are,
So you start creating habits
you
early.
start creating habits early, because you're looking at maybe a window of 0 to 7 years, 8 years before those habits are locked in.
Yes.
And it also opened, because I think also when she's talking about sometimes when you eat, let's say, cakes over here, what is the nutritional content on a cake?
Yeah.
What she was saying was, at least have eggs, have something, some nutrition. Don't have these phosphate over here. But if you're gonna make cake, have flour, yes, but have eggs, have milk.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when you look at whatever you're making, if you're baking, if you're whatever, some of the things that you're going to use to make have ingredients that come from, let's say, for example, a cow, grass-fed, hopefully. Just so that it's not you're just using stuff that has been manufactured, but stuff that comes from animal dairy, animal products, vegetables, or
Stuff that has been farmed, not
Farmed.
manufactured.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that for me was an eye-opener.
Organic.
That too.
And you see someone like Slay here is saying, I stopped buying almond milk because of her.
Almond milk is
and that was awesome. And you see what happened to Slay, like she stopped doing this. This is where we feel like we're actually putting in work, when someone takes action based on a conversation they had here.
And by the way, this is somebody
That's the most powerful reflection of of the work that we're doing and the experts that we brought in.
because we always say over here, a subject matter expert.
Maybe
Yes.
to add to that, ningetaka watu wajue kwamba every time tunatengeneza show tuna 3 pillars behind: to educate, entertain and engage. Hicho ndo kitu kinatoka ndani ya Kilimanjaro Studios. So I don't care ni reggae time, I don't care ni OneMic show,
Edibles.
either you're gonna get educated on what not to take, watu waliambiwa muvute,
You'll be
msimse.
entertained
Unaweza ukawa entertain
on
most
how
people.
to take it.
Muvurute,
At the same
mukule.
time we want you to engage.
You'll be
Na hii ya
engaged in
mwisho,
what it did.
Yeah.
hii ya mwisho nafikiri mwakani tungependa iongezeke zaidi, because we can educate, we can entertain. Engagement hiyo sasa iko upande wa fans,
Yes.
and we ask, beg, request, everything, please engage katika kuweka. Unajua alisema kwamba upike na mwanao,
Yes.
na sisi tunataka show tuzipike na wasikilizaji wetu.
Hapo. Bandio.
Umse.
Okay.
Waje. Umse.
Ameongea kama mhenga.
He's rhyming, timing and designing.
This mother soccer.
Umesikia?
Umse.
Vile hiyo mdalasini imeingishwa
Ni kama lirihas. Ni kama lirihas.
This one, let me tell you.
alikuwa na script.
He has been waiting to unleash.
Yes.
Unajua Bandio wanaandika mascript, vitu zikihappen kwa mind yake, script hiyo tayari shajiandika.
Mazen, you know sometimes watu uliza yani Peter Drury, when he's doing the commentary on soccer vile yani anaulizwa, do you make this up?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I'm not saying it's Peter Drury, hell no, but
Alafu unajua style ya Bandio, mnaweza kuwa like in an argument where there's different opinions amsikizani, yani umetoa points zako, alafu atakuuliza
swali moja tu
shot and then it will stop you in your track.
Unasema
utabaki unatafakari.
Na si ya mjukuu. Lakini
unatafakari.
Haro.
Ya babu.
Na si yeye pia.
Si yeye.
Kanya.
Hiyo pia inaweza kuwa ni changamoto hiyo pia. Inaweza kuwa ni changamoto pia.
Unasikia ati Yaras twin.
Yeah, so actually that's
so I think that for me, Anita, and the nutrition for me, that month was I think more impactful, because we've never had a nutritional dietitian. Kenyan.
Yes. Kawaida ni wazungu. Wanakuambia ule lettuce,
broccoli sijui nini, lakini they're not cognizant of
they're not culturally sensitive to the foods that are important.
And that is, exactly. And those are the people that we want. We want people who are no matter what, as much as we want to cover very many subjects, we want as much as possible to get culturally sensitive SMEs.
Yes, exactly. That's very important.
That for us, because they provide an angle. Yes, you know what? that gentleman, that the guy who you've sent me videos, the
Yasir Kadhi.
yeah, you know the imam.
Oh yeah. That's Yasir Kadhi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that one would provide a very, very great example for our listeners, because you're addressing, let's say, for example, I'm not stretching it, but let's say, for example, homosexuality
Yes.
and Islam.
Yes. In the
And
American
in
context.
the American context.
Yeah.
That guy, if
not,
you
not
listen,
a sheikh from
no,
Pakistan
no,
or from Tora Bora caves in Afghanistan.
or Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
But this guy lives here, and his advice, or when he gives the sermon pertaining to the American context
Yes.
here,
Yes.
raising your Muslim kids here,
Yeah.
would relate to if you're a Christian and raising whatever here.
Yes.
Very important
So
to understand
so
that.
that cultural sensitivity
Oh,
is
it
very
has to. It
important.
has to be
Wacheke
important.
Mauliza,
Yeah.
Yes.
why have never hosted the Kenyan ambassador?
And that's what I was coming to.
Oh,
Wow.
That's, yeah,
Okay.
Mother
that's a
Washeke
big
this
one.
this week, eh?
Yeah.
Uyo.
And that's a big one.
She's been throwing punches.
Yeah. And that's a big one. And
But you have to duck it
no,
off.
no,
Yeah.
I like that punch. We gotta take that punch.
No, we'll take it.
But
We
you
gotta
know
take that
what?
part. We should
It's
have
not
hosted
coming
the
from
ambassador.
us, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
coming from us.
Yeah.
Can we receive it though?
Well, we
Ali,
can,
let Ali explain.
okay, go ahead.
No, like we've tried, like getting the ambassador. It should not be this complicated, but it has also been.
You know what, Ali?
complicated.
This ambassador, we
Yeah.
haven't tried.
With this ambassador, we have tried, yes, but we haven't tried officially. We
Yes.
have tried
Omosh,
informally. We haven't tried
No,
officially.
we need to be. We
Omosh.
need to write officially to
Yes.
the embassy. That's
Okay,
what we
sir.
need to do.
Yes.
We
The
can
only-
go in unofficial, but we need to write officially to the embassy. And I think if the letter gets to his desk,
Yes, I think he will come.
He will actually come
Yes.
on the show.
So can we virtually write one?
Meaning what, to their email? Because
No.
actually-
Virtually, like, forget email.
No, with embassy you have to work with email.
No, we gotta
No.
do it
Like with
officially.
embassy, you have to work
Just
with
gotta
email.
send
You,
it,
you
send the
can't do
email.
WhatsApp.
They have an info at
Yeah.
whatever.
No.
it is, a big thing,
Forget.
and,
Yeah.
We know what's up.
Yeah.
And I know how, by the way, anything that is virtually coming supposedly official from WhatsApp, Ali is always the first guy to ask, what is the source?
No, first of all,
WNN, WhatsApp News Network.
WNN. First of all, like the way I personally treat information, I treat it as false news until
Till
verified.
proven, yes.
Yeah, until verified, because
Man,
there's
you
so
have
much
to.
garbage
There is
that's
a
going
lot.
through,
There's a ton.
especially WhatsApp. I think WhatsApp is one of the worst
It is,
places.
it is.
It's a cesspool
It is.
because at least Twitter, Facebook, they sometimes censor stuff that's fake news. But WhatsApp is a cesspool. You have to treat everything, whether it's coming from your mother, your family, your cousin,
Those are the worst.
your ex-girlfriend, your slay queen.
Those are the worst.
You have to treat it as fake news, however much you trust the person
Until-
who sent it to you. In fact, fake news usually comes from a trusted source, and that's the tactic that a lot of these people who are peddling fake news, they try to use trusted sources.
Ngoja nikusaidie kwa Kiswahili.
Yeah, huyu hawezi kunidanganya.
Kwa Kiswahili wanasema kwamba uongo ni ukweli ambao haujathibitishwa vinginevyo.
Bas, hapo kabisa. Hiyo pia ulirihasi
Ati,
hiyo.
tashokera higi. Tashokera, hebu rewind.
So,
Select haya side.
uongo ni ukweli ambao haujathibitishwa vinginevyo.
Okay.
Kwa mimi
Haya.
nikikwambia kitu, unless umeprove kwamba ninachosema ni tofauti, bado utaendelea kuamini.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
kwenye WhatsApp ndivyo ambavyo inakuwa mara nyingi.
Some comments here, Pierre, we've been missing out on. We were called out earlier for not reading comments when Ruth is not
But
here.
chances are, we
Is
will
it
not
the
be able
same-
to
is
read
it
all
the
of
same-
them.
We will not be able to read all of them, but I want to
Is it-
sample.
need
Is
to
it
make
the
sure
same
they-
Pablo's
they-
comments? Because
They need to make sure they tell Ali who. Ali or Ali original.
No, I'm the king. I'm the king. When the king is not here, I'm the king.
Just saying.
Eh?
Ali Bandia.
Mi ndio naibu wa king.
As much as
Mi ndio Ali
tunaenjoy-
naibu wa king.
as much as tunaenjoy kuwepo kwa Ali Kiba,
Amesema naibu wa
Ali
king.
reveal
Eh?
Ali reveal kwamba kumbe kuna real Ali, kuna Ali mwenye blue tick.
Blue tick ni $8.
ule alilipa.
Acha na-
Elon Musk anauza blue tick
kuna
$8.
kuna Ali bila blue tick.
Yeah, kuna Ali mwenye
No, lakini
mwenye
Elon
green.
Musk anauza hiyo blue tick $8.
Si ununue bwana hujanunua.
yeah.
Ununue.
Tutamwona.
Udisi Alikiba the king.
Alibandia.
Sawa. Let me see. Hapa I think Slay alikuwa anasema maybe Mika tupatie tips. I think that was regarding Bitcoins. And then Koitalela anasema been on Bitcoin since 2016 and still long. And then Aida anasema huyo I have never made a loss in crypto. Kwani ana invest $20. Haya. Huyo atajijua mwenyewe. And then Slay anasema
Fallujah.
Slay anasema Fatma Tabari was good too, which I agree.
Yes.
Please
She's
excuse me
always
if I
on
misspelled
point.
the name. And then, of course, your question here, Washeke has been answered on the ambassador, and we'll try to get him next year. And then let me see what else we have. And then Pablo anasema hapo studio kuna bendera ya Kenya kweli naona ya TZ pekee. No, I think anarifa kwa hii hapa.
Hiyo si bendera. Hiyo ni
bana. Hiyo ni bana.
Hold.
I think hapo basi ingekarabatiwa kidogo.
Ndio hapo.
Hii ndio bendera. Ile nyingine ni bana. Okay.
Sasa hiyo bana I think na Pablo maybe afafanue kama anarifa to aka kabendera ama kama anarifa tu hiyo bana. Unajua ingekuwa vizuri pia kama colors. Red, black and
kwanza
green.
Tuanze na kwa Pablo. Kwanza mwanze kumwambia Pablo nani alikuja na jina la Kilimanjaro Studios?
Yes. Actually now memories are coming back. Na ilikuwa papa because ilikuwa before Kilimanjaro Studios. Kutoka Matchbox. Yeah.
Siku ya kwanza mmesema tuna introduce kutoka alafu
hold. Huyu Mika anajaribu. Hiyo ni FTX.
Hiyo ni FTX ana trade.
Okay, sawa.
Kuna kunajaribu hapa. Mimi niko sawa.
Actually kutoka kwa Matchbox hii ilikuwa initially ilikuwa Studio O na tukadecide hapa. Yes. Itakuwa Kilimanjaro Studios. Kwa hivyo that was that, and it was a unanimous decision. Hakuna mtu ambaye alipinga.
No.
So yeah, but unajua Kilimanjaro pia
2023 kutoka kuna mwonekano mpya. Hopefully kutoka kuna vifaa vipya wakipatikana kuna mtu sijaona comment ya sponsor hapa. Lakini akipatikana sponsor kuna vitu vingi vinaweza
Pablo is a lawyer.
Yeah. Okay. And then
kuna biashara ya law ya wakili. Wewe wakili?
Yeah.
Rehebesha.
And then Pablo pia anasema there's a new consulate in LA who I'm sure atakuja Big Ted I think has been really engaging with a lot of people.
Akuja studio.
Yeah,
I don't know if he'll come to the studio.
We can do Zoom.
I mean, we can do Zoom because yuko LA.
Ni kutoka kule ulipokuwa umejificha na two fish.
Yeah, the same thing. We'll apply the same thing.
Kama vile I was in my undisclosed location last week.
Yeah. You know, at least yours is Korea. You know somebody with two fish.
Location in California.
Alafu mzee wa two fish.
Two fish alifikiria tu airudi.
Okay.
Sinilirudi kuna samaki 3.
Okay. Aya,
moja sorry ulikula moja but sorry carry on.
Yeah, sawa. So hiyo hapo, you know, like some good comments, you know, coming from kina Pablo, kina Slay, and all these things we are going to put them into consideration. I want to remind those who are just joining us, you're tuned in to the OneMic Show. We are recapping 2022 episodes of the OneMic Show, and we are asking the audience to critique us and tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly from a fan standpoint. So keep the comments flowing. Then please remember to share our live stream and like our Facebook page. We are also active on both Instagram and YouTube, so please follow, subscribe, and keep spreading the word. But before we continue, Micah, real quick, please tell us what we're going to be talking about in the social/sports segment. Micah.
So this is social/sports segment. We're going to be talking about the Qatar World Cup again. We're going to be talking about as American people in the USA, how has been the viewership for you? Has it changed for you? How's been the interaction of the World Cup? How's the World Cup experience changed for you? We're also going to compare about the World Cup experience when we were back home and right here. We're also going to talk about what's currently happening right now in Qatar. There has been an announcement that there will be a ban of beer sales in the stadium. So basically, watu watakunywa soda wakiona ball. And then we're going to talk about also about the reporting of fake fans. How is the atmosphere of this World Cup? And we are also going to talk about the World Cup theme song. Nani amesikia theme song ya hii World Cup?
Huh?
How do you like
What?
it?
Theme
How
song
do you
ya
feel
World
it?
Cup.
What is the thing? It's not.
How do you feel
Hiyo
about
hapo we're gonna talk about that in the social segment.
Segment.
Yes,
It's
Yeah.
not ile ya nani?
we're gonna
Ule
find
demo wa
out.
Brazil, sijui ule demo anaitwaje?
Hiyo yote we're gonna find out in the social segments.
Alia ameanza kusound kama Bani. There's one way to find out.
Okay, and then Slayer anauliza mtupatie fursa kuongea kuhusu documentary ya FIFA Uncovered. Nina mengi ya kusema, so that's gonna be in the World Cup segment. And then Rasvik
Mwambie
anasema
apige.
yes,
Apige simu.
please piga simu. And then Rasvik anasema nilipenda ile topic ya abortion. I think that was Roe versus Wade. So that was also a topic that we covered very very extensively. And then I think Pablo anamwambia Bandio, anauliza kama Bandio ana nywele, mwambie avue kofia.
Nitamwonyesha muda samre.
Please, asante. Okay, haya. Sa Pablo hiyo
Atulie
hapo.
kama ananyolewa.
Yeah. Yeah, Pablo hiyo hapo mtangoja. But yeah, so real quick, running through as we try to wrap up this segment in the month of April. The April actually was the month of reggae, following a landmark ruling by Kenya Supreme Court on the Building Bridges Initiative, and we extensively covered this topic. This was also the month that our presidential candidate Raila Odinga came to DC for the Azimio in DC event, which was proudly live streamed by Kilimanjaro Studios. And then we also hosted John Minor in studio, who was part of Raila's team. Now, still in news and politics, we talked about political party nominations in Kenya. There were impending deadlines on e-passports, Huduma numbers, and Safaricom SIM card registration. Then on the
That was a really good topic.
Yes, those were really good topics. And also on the guest list this month was the president of the Africa Welfare Association, Mr. Lawrence Muraya, who was talking about death and repatriation in the diaspora. Other topics covered in April included the Singapore Sevens and the death of former President Emilio Mwai Kibaki, and not forgetting that we skipped a show this month owing to technical difficulties. And I think that issue of technical difficulties, we already addressed it.
Covered,
Yeah, and I want the audience to remember that we are looking for your favorite topic, your most impactful guest, your least favorite or most boring topic. We also want you to critique us on our bright and blind spots, and any important topics that we missed. Tell us what we did not cover. We further also want you to tell us about the guests that we should have hosted that we failed to do. So we've already been told about the ambassador. So start getting busy again in the comments. I'm gonna go to you, Bandio, and then I think Uno also wanted to talk
nijibu
about
swali
death.
la Pablo. Ni Pablo ameuliza, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, ameuliza kama nina nywele. Uno. Embo mwonyeshe Pablo huko. Aya Pablo, hapo ni mimi. Kofia leo sivui.
Hey, okay.
yeah,
Bandiolet.
Yeah, kwa hiyo
Let's call that bandiolet.
that's the real African soldier. Ras. Twin.
Micah,
That's
what do
the
you call it?
real
Ras
African-
twin?
Eh?
Yes,
Ras?
Ras twin. It's a real African
Micah, we
soldier. Na hii sio soldier.
Yeah.
Unajua kwenye marasta
Ni soldier.
kuna soldier
Yeah.
for Ja revolution, not soldier for their revolution. Tuendelee.
Okay, and then Rasvik hapa anasema niko na job ya supervisor wa warehouse, Oxbridge, Massachusetts. Ebu tell a friend to tell a friend. And I think this is also gonna be another thing that I think we want to create.
Classifieds.
We want to create a network because we have people who are managers, who are supervisors, who own companies, who are looking for employees, to connect employees and employers. I think that would be a good thing. You know, like if we find the
Networking
right way to
101.
do it. Yes. If we find the right ways to do it. So Rasvik, tukipata mtu, we're gonna recommend to you, anybody akipata mtu, talk to
Kama
Rasvik.
tulivyosema, kuelimisha, kuburudisha, kushirikisha.
Hapo kabisa.
Ukipata kitu kizuri,
Yes.
engage, educate,
Yeah.
entertain.
And then Uno, you wanted to talk about death and repatriation. We in April we hosted Lawrence Muraya.
Yeah. So ideally, I think, and this is something that I believe when the community, and I'm specifically looking at the Kenyan community, it's something that you really need to think about. You really need to assess and process. And we'll post the show again, because it's getting to the point where every week or every other week or every week or every other day or every other 2 days or whatever, we are losing somebody. So mchango, it is becoming one of those things that it gets to a point where you start having to choose where you're going to direct your funds. Now,
If you changa for me, I changa for you. Period.
yeah, but you see, if 10 people have changaed for you, and then
It's okay.
it's
Then
okay.
Pia mimi na wachangia. I
So
go
to
back my
alleviate the
list.
burden, Africa Welfare Association has a program where if you're a single guy, if you're a couple with kids, and your kids are below 18, I believe 18, they're covered. And if you are above, when you get above 18, then you're an adult, so you can pay for yourself. But what this does, Africa Welfare Association, Africa Welfare Association.org alleviates. You don't have to worry about mchango, meaning from when you are in the morgue, the mortuary, like if you go to from funeral home to internment, if you pay, you're covered.
Okay. All right.
So it is I think it is something that we need to really look at, because the community is getting exhausted
Absolutely.
financially.
Yes.
It is getting exhausted, and there's a way. In Baltimore, we have got, MDKO. And MDKO in itself alleviates, it facilitates. So if you're a member, there's a facilitation, you get a certain career. But if you have MDKO and you've got hour,
Okay.
you are good. You're not becoming a burden.
Yeah, and that's, I think Ali would
Neither
And
say
I
that.
think-
neither is it,
Yes.
neither is it burdening you.
It is not. It is not. So
Yeah.
I think it is important. Again, it is maybe like if you have a family, it's maybe about $300
For the year.
for the year. If you're a family, if you're a single guy, you're maybe looking about maybe $100 or something. If you're a single person,
Yeah.
male or female. But this is something that is actually used by diplomats. This is people. If people in the diplomatic corps, guys who are diplomats or whatever, are in this program, we actually should be in this program full frontal, all the way inside.
Acha niwaambie, wake up.
Oh, sorry.
Wake
Haya.
up.
Harold,
Wacha
So
tuwaambie.
Africa Welfare Association, I'm telling you, that is going to be your best friend, and it will alleviate the burden. You don't have to worry about having a guy is going to come through for me, or
And the
let's say your
family
wife,
get us home.
for
bring
me
us
or your
back.
wife, which means that even your brother who is older, let your brother or your sister join that. If he or she is single, it is going to help them. It is not going to be a burden to you, because trust me, it is becoming expenditure.
Okay. Aya, bandio.
Bandio.
Yeah, okay, wacha nikwambie, kama uko hai, kitu pekee uko guarantee ni kwamba utakufa.
Only
Guaranteed.
Only thing uko
Guarantee.
guarantee ni kwamba utakufa.
You're not guaranteed to get a wife. You're not guaranteed to
Iyo.
get a kid.
Hata uko guarantee utakufa lini, vipi, wapi, aje, haiko guarantee. Lakini kwamba utakufa, that's guaranteed.
Malakul maut atakujia.
Huyu atakuja hata kama hujatumia nini?
Yes.
Edibles.
Edibles. Kwa hiyo
Wow.
Ati malakul maut.
malakul maut. Kwa hiyo swala hapa ni kwamba unajiandaa, na unajua Omosh anasema kwamba ukilipa na mimi nitalipa.
Yeah.
Lakini kuna mwanafunzi yuko Iowa kule.
Yeah.
Correct.
Hana community.
Yes.
Correct.
Umeelewa?
No,
Kuna
you're
mwingine
right.
yuko Alaska, kuna mwingine yuko Hawaii.
And so you eliminate that.
Hicho ina eliminate. Alafu pia time. Kuna watu wanakaa kwenye mortuary huko, kwenye funeral home 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Wako kwenye WhatsApp sasa wanasema hatutumi message nyingine yoyote, tutume tu mazishi. And it's like hakuna maisha yanaendelea. Lakini unakuta hizi AWA na wengine popote unapotaka kujiunga, lakini it makes so easy kwa sababu kila mtu ana contribute kitu kidogo. It's guarantee utasafirishwa au utazikwa hapa na ile burden itakuwa taken care of. Uzuri ni kwamba ni kama vile the same thing umesema, nizike ni kuzike hata kama hamjuani physically, lakini mnakuwa katika umoja. Kwa hiyo watu wajue kwamba kama uko hai, kitu pekee kiko guarantee maishani mwako ni kwamba utakufa. Lini, vipi, wapi,
Nobody knows. Yeah. Okay.
So that is why I was saying I think it is one of those programs that I think even if again kama amesema na kama kuna
hapa.
Kama kuna mtu wako Alaska whatever, if you're a student, I mean, because it alleviates the burden of trying to raise 20 to 25,000. Our takes care of that.
Boss, once you remember, wakati mwingine inakuja ile ndio umemaliza kulipa nani, alafu amekufa bandio, alafu anaangalia watu wote wa OneMic ndio umetoka kulipa sijui mortgage sijui na nini, alafu akiangalia kwenye listi hampo, and I'm like, nyinyi ndio mlikuwa mnafanya naye kazi. Lakini kama ningekuwa member wa hour au nani nyingine, then hakuna desperation ya kwamba lazima tupate funds. Unajua, kwa hiyo jiunge sio kwa ajili yako tu, na kuwasaidia watu wengine. Unajua kuna msemo unasema kwamba ukifa umekufa tu, inawauma watu waliobaki.
So again, africawelfareassociation.org, just go there, sign up. It's there. Just it will alleviate a huge burden.
And then here Slay says, just remembered he also hosted the two gentlemen. Okay, that's a different comment. I'm going to read that later. He asked, would it be possible to also talk on organizations, if there are any, that assist with mchango when someone loses a loved one back home? I think now that one we need to talk to people in Kenya, because there's products in Kenya.
There are products
that
in
you
Kenya,
can buy for them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which cost next to
Yes. So
in
I think
fact, I can even put my hands through.
So I think we need to get another expert to talk about those products so that you can also protect your loved ones.
There's a whole bunch of products, and even for those of you who have bank accounts in Kenya, the banks that you bank with offer those products, and they call them last. What do they call them? Last. It's almost like an insurance cover. And what you fill out the form and you put your relatives, and some of them have restrictions as to how many people you can put in. They also have an amount of money that they pay out, anywhere from 100 to 200 to 300K per death, per person. And I think some of them you get maybe 4 deaths a year. Others you get G3 or you get whatever.
So
but they have, and even the funeral homes, Kina Umash, Nini, they all have that last rights, I think is what they call them, or last.
So I think I think those ones we also need to get someone from back home who understands them better to come and talk to people about it. And then also Washeke says we should also embrace cremation. Much cheaper and sustainable.
Washeke as Luos we don't cremate.
No, hiyo ni nzuri. Unajua
we'll cremate when I go.
Ngoja nikwambie kitu kizuri kuhusu cremation.
Yes.
Unakwenda na mwili wa mwenzako. Yaani wakikucremate alafu wanakuwekea kale kama jivu. Unakaa nako. Ukihama unahama. Haya mambo yote nimemwacha, nimemzika Maryland. No. Nikienda zako nani uko chumbani kwangu.
Mimi napelekwa Rusinga.
Okay, those are things that now we have to
semantics.
And I think ndio nalizungumza Slay alipozungumza kwamba tunahitaji watu wa generation tofauti, mtazamo tofauti, and people need to understand they don't have to be here physically. They can join from.
Let me ask you, ukisema unapeleka Rusinga and all the people in your life are here.
Yes.
The matter for you.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll be dead. Me, I want to go over there.
So
you want to go over there, but how maisha yako huko?
Wajipange kila saa kama wajipange. It doesn't matter. I'll be dead.
Just to provide context.
Lakini hii ni topic nzuri sana. Maisha ni nini kwako na kifo kinamaanisha nini?
Yes.
Okuyos back in the day. Ukikufa
throne
porini.
Actually,
for real.
Hata wa Masai.
Ndio nitaka nimwambie.
Masai walikuwa wanafanya.
Wakikuyu na wa Masai.
Pull hiyo karatasi hapo. Kwa hiyo kuna kipindi ninaandaa sasa hivi kinaitwa Asili Yetu. Na actually nilikuwa nasoma kuhusu wa Masai. Kwa asili Masai kumbe alipokuwa kifa kwa sababu ya ardhi na kila kitu. Ukiangalia kwenye iko hapa itakuja inaitwa Asili Yetu. Wamasai ulikuwa unapakwa mafuta ya kondoo ili ukaliwe na fisi.
Yes, kabisa.
Na Wakikuyu kama ujazaa umefanya zote unaekwa ash.
Yeah. So unaona hizi desturi nyingi ambazo tuko nazo
unajua nini, angalia even look at it from a commercial point of view whereby land with graves doesn't sell.
Yes.
And then you know
but land without graves will sell, and that is why we see in the African culture, even when development wants to happen, kuna point development haiwezi move on because you want to go to an area and every compound has a grave on. Hawezi nunua hiyo shamba.
Unaona makaburi ya Kiislamu.
Yeah.
Baada ya miaka, I think ni baada ya miaka 10 unaruhusiwa kuzika mtu mwingine pale.
On top.
Yes.
Na hapa lakini wanafanya.
Interesting.
Hapa sijui kama wanafanya.
No, hapa wanafanya
but kulingana na price.
They dig deep.
Yes. Kwa hiyo kuna sehemu ambazo ukienda unalipa, ndio maana uweze hata kuweka tombstone
ama 8 foot alafu ile mwingine anaweka 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Na mimi niliona kwa sababu alichimba baada kwa bahati mbaya wakagusa kale kingine.
Yeah, so ndio hivyo sasa hii issue, the subject of death, you know, I think is something that we also
have to do it.
We
have to discuss about
it. We have to do it. Na watu wanakimbia.
Yeah, and then Washeke also
but it's
says,
part of our life.
Washeke also says, on that note of death, please prepare your documents, health directives.
Yes.
And this is something that I think that I also had mentally planned to have a show on just what you need to have in order. Because you all own bank accounts, you own investment accounts, na nini. So you need to have everything correct, such that if something happens to you, malakul maut akija, yani ule mwenzako anajua
as long as unakula edibles inabidi uwe ready.
Yeah, inabidi uwe ready. Yeah. Malakul maut akija mwenzako anajua tu mimi nitafungua hii draw na kila kitu kiko hapo.
Unatembea naye.
Unatembea na document ama edible.
No, unatembea na malakul maut.
So I think but also I think more important is when it comes to that right now as we speak, I think to alleviate the burden of mchango.
Yeah.
It is different when it comes to a health crisis where there's something that, okay, you've exhausted the funds for this for you to survive. Hiyo sasa tunaweza angalia. Lakini when it comes to ati umekufa, you know, you've passed on.
Yeah.
The programs are there. africawelfareassociation.org is there. Alafu kuna MDKU, you know, that helps. It is not much, but so guys who are in Maryland, you know, me personally, when I'm speaking here because I'm a member of both.
Signed up.
I've signed up on both. Hapa EMDKU
yuko vizuri kufa
na niko awa.
Wewe uko sawa.
So
if something happens to you,
nani sawa?
If something happens to you, hakuna WhatsApp group.
Wewe sasa mimi kama bush doctor naweza nika prescribe edibles.
No, hapo nimekataa hizo. Well, edibles wacha mambo ya bush.
Lakini if something happens to you, hakuna WhatsApp group. Kwa hivyo kama watu wa OneMic show hajachanga, then si tunajua tu kwa sawa.
Nyinyi mjue
but GoFu might come for us.
Mtajua mjui. Jerry na Rimo na Aiden anawaangalia. So mjichunge, but I don't want to leave that burden on guys. I want
wacha mchango iwe extra.
If the mchango is there,
na hiyo ndio changamoto. Watu wanapokuwa desperate kwamba mama yake analia inabidi tusafirishe maiti. Sasa kama mimi sina, it looks bad. Lakini kama pesa imeshapatikana, anything is there.
So any money that comes in inaenda kwa watoto.
Yes, there you go.
Na mama watoto.
So
whatever it is, but hapa ingine you're not burdening
Pablo,
you're not burdening the society. And I am speaking from as somebody who is signed up. So I'm
edibles.
Useme kula edibles. Ukimwona hivyo.
Nafikiri ni topic nzuri.
Yeah, it is.
Pablo either yeye mwenyewe kama lawyer au mtu mwingine wanaweza kaja
No, Pablo akona kanandri.
Especially hiyo inaitwa estate plan.
Just kusema masuala ya trust. Wills. Kwa sababu here's one thing.
Pablo, kanandri umeongea.
Kuna hypocrisy kubwa sana kuhusu kifo. Unajua hata ile inaitwa bima ya maisha, uweze kutumia ukiwa hai.
Yeah.
Umeelewa?
Life insurance
life insurance alafu inafanya kazi sana ukifa. Yaani kuna watu hawataki kuzungumzia kifo. But it's everywhere. Especially kama mtu kwa Marekani. Watu wanaokufa kwa just road rage, sijui missed identity, kulikuwa shot na mambo kama hayo.
Yeah.
Tunaendesha sana barabarani, tuna fly. It's like kila siku sisi ni maiti wima, huwa nasema hivyo. It's like ni maiti ambazo zinasubiri tu kukamilika. And yet unakuta tujajiandaa. Kwa nafikiri itasaidia watu wengi, na hizi ni zile show ambazo unaweza kufanya alafu msiwe na watu wengi, lakini mkawa na watu wachache ambao mnawagusa katika maisha.
And just to finalize this, like Dombolo, let me say Dombolo has been very influential even in my life. Like he gives a perspective of reality is reality. Upende usipende, no matter how you dodge it, at the end of the day,
it is true.
This is what you're going to get.
Yes.
And he has said one thing that is important, like Bandio said, in as much as you're living life or whatever, one thing that is guaranteed,
Kifo.
Yeah.
Simple.
Sawa.
Over to you, bro.
Yeah, let's
and also, on estate planning, just to let guys know, there's estate planning for when you're not here, but estate planning for when you're here, and especially for a lot of us who have been here for a long time, and maybe you have investments or you have family investments and you guys want to keep things together. That's where estate planning comes in. And Kenya now has the ability for people to do trusts where you can pass on properties without having to pay taxes if people didn't know.
Okay.
So that's just, one of those things that's there now, and they passed it in 2021.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sawa Ruth Kilungu, tunakukaribisha, karibu sana. You've been away but
hello,
not
Ruth.
away. And then
Hi.
Hello.
And then Pablo anamwambia anasema Bandio anaongea kama CS Moses Kuria na mambo yake ya GMO. In fact, hiyo comment ya Moses Kuria GMO.
Did he really say that?
No,
he really say it?
He did, but well, let's move on from
and before that,
and then Phil says cremation kazi kwisha.
Yep.
Unachukua jivu kiasi, unaweka ndani ya diamond, alafu unaivaa ka necklace au bracelet.
Yep.
Hapo basi. Haya. Sawa. Let's
unaweka jivu kidogo ndani ya edible unakula.
enyewe watu saa zingine hamko serious. Anyway, let's
utaona vitu gani?
Yeah, let's move on to May, and I know we're running out of time.
Definitely.
But May was another guest heavy month, and it was abbreviated also because of the Memorial Weekend break. We hosted DJ Otieno V from ATL, who was talking about how COVID changed Kenyan entertainment. I'm sure you all remember Club COVID. We then interviewed 16-year-old Kenyan-American artist Audrey Hinya.
That was one of my best shows.
Who not only talked about her music, but
One
also
of my best
schooled
shows.
African parents on issues facing the American-born
She was
kids.
bored.
We also hosted Thomas Maura, who was a Senate candidate for Maryland's 8th District, who talked about his candidacy and chimed in on the running mate in Kenya's elections. And then other topics covered this month were the overturning of Roe versus Wade, relationship reducible minimums, and the Sauti Sol versus Azimio feud. And then I want to remind the audience that we're looking for your favorite topic, your most impactful guest, your least favorite or most boring topic. We also want you to critique us on our blind spots and important topics that we may have missed. We also want you to tell us about guests that we should have hosted but failed to do so. So please get busy on the comments. Omosh, like when I mentioned Audrey Hinya, the 16-year-old Kenyan-American artist, there was a reaction from you.
Yes, because I just felt she had this presence, spirit, confidence. She knows what she wants to do. She's doing it how she wants to do it, is unapologetic about it, but she still recognizes that she has this, culture. She has the Kenyan side, she has the American side, and she's straddling both fences. But at this, so at the end of that conversation, we're like, oh, wow, she's a very, very talented person. And at some point, you even forgot that she was young.
Yeah.
When you are having this conversation with her, based upon her, I was going to say her knowledge or her ability to articulate herself in a clear, concise manner that she even made you think, outside of the box in terms of from a perspective of, we talked about the kids who are born here.
But the parents.
And then how, they interact with their parents. And she's like, yeah, my mom's my best friend. She's my buddy, But then, we still face these issues as kids who are born here, who straddle both fences. Yeah. A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
My favorite point is when she said, what was that about? It's like something about her mom was like,
Mwiko.
Mwiko.
Ile mwiko. The torture.
It's like akinyanyua mwiko tu najua. It's like sijui mengi ya kilugha lakini akisema hivi naelewa. And to me, I think we enjoyed her because of what parents invested in. Correct. So it's like maua. Unajua kila mtu anakwenda kwenye cherry blossom anapiga picha na maua. Amna mtu anapiga picha na mzizi. Umeelewa? Yani mzizi ndio itakuwa unaweka. Unaelewa? So to me, as much as we enjoyed kuwa na Audrey, we know that wanasema alikuwa molded by. Na hapo ndio ambako nataka nipeleke pongezi kwamba nilipokuwa nikimsikiliza I'll think of kazi ambayo wazazi wamefanya, and to that kudos kwao.
Okay. All right. That's great. And to me also another one on the previous segment on March that I missed mentioning, like on someone that we did not interview that we should have interviewed is Raila Amolo Odinga. And on top of that, I will also add William Samoei Ruto, and I still believe that one day both of those individuals will make it to Kilimanjaro Studios. Yes.
Kwa sababu I'll say this nasema hii kama producer, as crazy as it may sound, nafikiri tumefika level ambayo we can interview anybody.
Yes.
Tunamtaka. All they need is just kuamini kwamba this is the right place to be.
Yes.
We have tunaweza tusiwe na watu wengi sana lakini tuna loyal followers ambao wana mapenzi na Kenya. Kwa hiyo nafikiri na hii nimesema sikusema kwenye OneMic, but I challenge mtu yoyote aliyeko Afrika Mashariki atuambie kwamba kuna sehemu gani ambayo tunaweza tukafanya ambacho kinaweza kufanyika Kilimanjaro Studios. Studio yoyote Afrika Mashariki. And I didn't say Tanzania, sikusema Kenya, sikusema Uganda. East Africa. Kwamba kama unajua kile tunaweza tukafanya hapa, content tunaweza tukaitengeneza hapa, tuambie. Kwa hiyo nafikiri OneMic show sasa hivi tuko katika stage ambayo ziara ijayo ya Rais Ruto should be a target.
Yes.
Na tukimkosa tuulizwe. And I'll be more than happy kujibu kuhusiana na hilo. Lakini nafikiri tumefikia sehemu ambayo tuko mahali ambapo tunataka interview mtu yeyote yule.
Okay.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Tuka make sense ya hiyo. Kwa hiyo nafikiri yes tulimiss kuminterview Raila. Lakini tunakoelekea sasa hivi tunaanza big shots. 2023 itakwenda barua kwenda balozini na kuhakikisha kwamba public figure yoyote anayekuja Marekani akataka kuzungumza na watu katika states zote 50 za Marekani, this is the place to be.
Hapo basi Bandio ashasema. And then another dream interview for me is Samia Suluhu Hassan. Ningependa sana kumhoji Samia Suluhu.
But that's Bandio's buddy.
My friend, ni kama kutafuta female rooster, lakini sawa.
No, but I think she would also be she would also be like kwanza unajua wa Kenyans, I don't know about Tanzania, but Kenyans really love her.
Omosh, the look on your face.
Kenyans really love her. Na yeye pia anajua kuzungumza na wa Kenya. So I think that would be, and then another dream of a dream interview would be Wodemaya.
So
the day when Wodemaya comes to the US,
sio politicians wenyewe. Ni assistants. Umeelewa?
Yes.
Or the blockers.
Yes. Kwa sababu mimi nilipata nafasi ya
watu wa mkono.
Nilipata nafasi ya kuminterview.
KYM.
Nilipata nafasi ya kuminterview Kikwete, right? Akiwa rais. Sikuweza kuminterview, si kwa sababu alikuwa hataki. Ila kwa sababu watu walikuwa kabla yake.
Handlers.
Walikuwa na masharti, and I was like siwezi nikajidiminish to that point just to get an opportunity kuongea na rais. Unajua? Nikadrop. Nikapata rais nafasi ya kuminterview Saif Sharif Ahmad.
Yes.
Na tulikaa pale for 4 hours tunasubiria. Mpaka kabla hajaenda kulala nauliza wale watu waliosema wanataka kwenda kuinterview wako wapi? Umeelewa? Alafu tunakuja tunaita tunaongea naye tunamwambia sisi tuko hapa for 4 hours. Anasema kwa nini mimi nimechelewa kulala na nasubiri? Hao watu wengine wanasema mzee amechoka amefanya hivi.
Angalia sasa.
The challenge si watu wenyewe. And I'm pretty sure kwamba Rais Samia Suluhu Hassan atakuwa more than happy kupata nafasi ya kuweza kuengage. That's what they do. Ndio kazi yao kuongea na wananchi. Unajua? Na hakika kabisa kwamba Rais Ruto kama ataambiwa kwamba kuna nafasi ya kuongea na Watanzania. This is like a mall. This is like a one stop shop. Unafika hapa unaongea na dunia. Nani ambaye mwanasiasa gani unamfahamu wewe atakataa hiyo opportunity? ila kuja kumfikia yeye sasa
handlers.
hawa watu hapa.
Sasa labda tutafute watu wa kuhandle hao handlers kwa sababu hao ndo tatizo. Hao ndo tatizo kubwa.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's gonna be next year. A couple of comments here. Pablo anasema, I mentioned the show with Brittany Caldwell when she came on. It was nice hearing about Africa from an American who has had an opportunity of visiting the continent, and we're going to cover this next week in the second part. You know, like because today we're covering, this is only half the year, you know, so we still not next week, sorry, on December 2nd. December 2nd is when we're gonna cover the rest.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's next week for him.
Yeah, let me go through the comments again. And then someone called Lofi's Cars says, let's have a topic about street kids. It's bizarre that we view it as normal. And actually, that's very interesting that he says that, you know, like growing up, tunaona machokora, and we just know always kuna machokora, but jambo la kawaida.
But that's our norm.
That's our norm.
That's our norm. It's like that fufu analogy you give.
Yes, but it's bizarre. That's now when you think about it, it's actually bizarre
it is.
that we view it as normal.
Yes.
And then Slay anasema, Slay sasa anataka kunianzia timbaka Ali ametingisha kichwa vile Raila hutingiza akiongea. Okay.
Slay are good.
Yeah.
Slay are good. Oh, by the way, Slay, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Oh,
Allah.
Oh,
Yeah.
happy birthday
to you, Slay. Happy birthday to you, Slay. Happy birthday, dear Slay.
Oh, no.
Happy birthday
to you. Grammy material, Grammy award material.
Yanis, that's the first person I think has been sung for.
Yes.
Slay, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Slay. And then
I don't know about Bukoba.
Pablo anasema, please, Yoweri Museveni's interview would be a good one.
Unasema kuna mtu mwingine ametaja hapo.
Hebu ngoja nione.
Ati tusijaribu nani?
Wasijaribu kuleta Francis Atwoli, atavunja vitu studio akirusha simu. Allah. Okay, aya, sawa.
Pablo ni cheesy yake.
Yeah.
Pablo.
And then Filarum anasema wacha niwatafutie mbana za Sudi. Washikanishe na Hasla. Sudi huo ni mwingine. Mi watu kama kina Victor Sudi, if there's people that I would not want to interview, you know, I'm sorry to say, Victor Sudi is on top of that list. You know, to me there's some characters that I don't know whether an interview would be
beneficial.
Would be beneficial.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
Kuna comment kwa ajili ya Omosh.
Okay. Inasemaje comment?
Kwenye music segment next year, can we have different genre of music?
Every week.
That one we're gonna video.
Reggae, ohangla. Waambie why atucheze na hizo.
Okay, so the goal of the show has always been for us to play. We play East Africa, and then we spotlight Kenya. But we play East Africa, spotlight Kenya. Now, with that said, any music that we play outside of that region that we have mentioned gets copyrighted, and our live broadcasts are killed within 6.8 seconds.
Yes.
If we play music from West Africa, if we play rumba, if we play South African music, if we play, you name that other genre of music that you're talking about.
Very few reggae artists watakuruhusu ucheze nyimbo zao as long as you don't monetize it. Na hiyo imeikuta kwa watu kama Luciano, you know, Jam Messenger. Lakini hao wengine wanaweka copyright hata kama it's like hit or miss. Unazungumzia mziki wao, unawapublicize, bado unapata strike.
Unapata copyright strike.
Ambayo is super stupid. I mean, nimesha kumuinterview mtu hapa. Unamuinterview mtu, anazungumzia wimbo wake, anasema cheza hapo ni uzungumzie, then unapata copyright
strike. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Unawaambia unapokwenda ukaeleza, wanamwandikia afu wanasema eti imekuwa denied.
Yeah, your issue I think that's something that we need to talk to someone. Kuna watu like in DJ Shinsky who have managed to hack that system. but I think I don't know whether they don't monetize their video.
Special account?
Yeah.
Something.
So I think that's something that we need to research on.
Some people are on whitelists. So when you broadcast from your YouTube channel, or you broadcast from your Insta or whatever it is, then you don't get blacklisted, or should I say you don't get blocked via copyright. But you have to actively go out, seek, and there's about, I think, 6 to 7 or 8 major players who are behind the copyright stuff. So like you have like the CBSs, the Sonys, and some of these other larger companies, Warner Brothers, and so
Ngoma.
Ngoma pia. Ngoma kona monopoly.
But Ngoma is out of Kenya, and the guy is a very well-known producer. Some of us have even engaged in that area.
My friend.
And the questions we asked, you know what we were asked? I was actually asked, well, okay, fine. So you want to play this music. How much money would you be willing to pay for you to play it?
Wale jamaa wamecopyright mpaka majina.
That's the question.
Yani umeupload kwamba mahubiri ya Masanja mkandamizaji. Nimemrekodi mimi, amehubiri kwangu, nina upload kabla hata haijawa processed, imeshakuwa blocked. Wamecopyright jina, not even content.
Yes. God damn, yeah.
And that's something that there's only one guy who does that in Kenya.
Yeah.
And he's the major player. And na yeye kazi yake ni kuongea na hao ma artists, and he says, look, I'm going to get you guys money and I'm going to make sure you get monetized. Just give me the A-OK. Fine. Go ahead and do it.
Clemo.
Okay.
Sema tu Clemo.
Sema tu Clemo, boss.
Omosh alikuwa anajaribu kusensa.
Boss, I was trying to censor so
amesahau yuko the OneMic show.
Boss, ni Clemo. Tunajua ni Clemo, boss.
Mwache Mika asema. Mika unasema?
Tunajua ni Clemo. Moja anajaribu wao ndio basi there's a guy.
Mika, when I was trying to clean this thing up.
There's a guy.
Unaambia watu mshene.
Yeah.
So anyway,
there's a guy.
Anyway, I tried to engage with some of these folks, and the talks they didn't go very well. And it's also part of that whole thing where we find out that some folks, and we don't do it, pay for interviews. We don't pay anybody for an interview.
I find
so
that very...
So when they come over here, the expectation is, boss, pay me. And then I'll come for the interview.
Yeah, sorry.
And we're like, no, we are actually giving you a promo. So you should be paying us.
Yeah, it should be the other way around.
It should be the other way around. But, because we do this for our audience as a service for our folks in the diaspora and those who are, even in Kenya, there's a lot of things on the background that people don't get to see. So back to the music and the copyrights and why we don't play certain genres outside of the ones that we know will not be earmarked for copyright.
Ni kwa sababu Clemo amecopyright kila muziki Kenya.
Aya, sawa. Hii hapa, we're going to have a conversation on this further, and I think we're going to do better
But
research.
Ohangla will be played more often if that's the need. Yes, we will play Ohangla more
if Clemo hasn't copyrighted it. Carry on.
Sawa. Now, to okay, Washeke hapa amesema something that amesema nitakat feelings if you don't sing for me.
Kwa tumwimbia leo kabisa.
Yeah, so I don't know that leo
we can sing for her now. She wants us to sing for her.
But what are we singing for?
What are we singing? What does Washeke want us to sing?
I mean, is it her birthday? Is it her is it her graduation?
Or December itakuwa Kenya?
So do we sing when you come back, or we sing ahead of time?
Tutafanya kwenye Zoom.
Ahead of time.
We'll sing. No, I think we'll sing when we come back. Belated.
Hapana, mwambie atuambie palibashi itakuwa tutamwimbia Kenya live.
That's even a better idea. Washeke umesikia.
Na hiyo hapo umebonyeza point ile aje.
Mika akishapata edibles. Anakuwa
sawa. Akombele kama mfuko shati.
Sikiza Washeke, hiyo hapo usimwage mtama hapa, tuambie kwa inbox.
Kwa msala upitao.
Hapana, si mtama tena, si kwa msala upitao.
Mbachao kwa msala upitao, sorry.
Hiyo hapo story tofauti. But tuambie inbox kule bashi itakuwa, tutakuja tutaimba live.
Kuna comments za Omosh huko.
Wow. Alafu naona hapa let me see what other comments here.
Achuna amezungumza kuhusiana na insecurity in Kenya.
Yes, hiyo insecurity in Kenya, Achuna we're gonna address that comprehensively tukirudi next year because it's become such a big issue. And then Slayer anasema Washeke I'll just be replaying that particular segment. I think Slay, hiyo itakuwa ni segment yake.
Amerekodi.
Yeah. Okay.
So, ya kuimba.
Yeah, hiyo ya kuimba. Yeah, and then Filaruma anamwambia Omosh, yani nimepotea sana hadi Omosh anawatesa na cornrows. Yeah, exactly. There you go. You're feeling onyesha how long you've been away, because he midlife.
And you know the worst part about it is he's my rela.
Yeah,
this
that's
is the
even
worst
worse.
part of it. He should see me in camera
issue.
And then the nyangao
family
comes
meeting.
on the show na bomoa na nafungua roho yake.
Family meeting. Hiyo kwa family meeting itakuwa.
Who the ham sandwich does ish like that?
Your family?
Na hizo ni cornrows, not even dreadlocks.
Yeah.
You know?
Hiyo hapo sasa family meeting.
It's not even cornrows. It's
Thanksgiving
called
is coming
styling of dreads. Foko jembe. See me outside.
Aya, wewe boss, Thanksgiving is coming up. So muonane family meeting.
I'm not good giving thanks to him.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is mkikutana huko Thanksgiving, hapo ndo pali mtaanza kusoti mambo yenyu. And then now the last kabisa to completely wrap this up, because yani leo, the month of June, this is the last month that we are covering, and in the month of June we unfortunately again started with a skipped show due to a technical difficulty, and of course that has been addressed. We also hosted financial planner Chris Rain, who talked about life insurance and retirement planning. In politics, we covered the relevance of college degrees in political leadership.
Cliff Okoth.
Cliff
Okoth,
not Chris Rain.
Two
different guys, same cloth. But
I meant Cliff. Did I say Chris?
You said Chris. It's
okay.
Cliff.
Sorry.
Cliff.
My
Cliff
bad. Yes.
Rain.
Cliff Rain, not Chris Rain. My bad. Yeah, Cliff Rain.
Chris Lane is the financial expert.
Yes. So we covered Cliff Rain, who talked about life insurance and retirement planning. In politics, we covered the relevance of college degrees in political leadership.
Yes.
Which was a very big topic.
Sakaja Teamsters.
Yes. We also talked about the January 6th hearings that were ongoing at the time. And then in sports, we talked about Steph Curry's legacy after winning his 4th NBA title. We also discussed the US cities that won the rights to host the 2028 World Cup. And we were a bit bitter here that DMV was not selected. Then we also touched on Kenya 15's rugby. Now, audience, remember, all we're looking for from you is tell us your favorite topic, the most impactful guest we hosted, your least favorite topic or most boring one. We also want you to critique us on our bright and blind spots and important topics that we may have missed. We further also want you to tell us about guests that we should have hosted, but we failed to do so. So get busy on the comments. Again, this was in the month of June, and I think this kind of wraps up, our recap, our first half. There will be a second half on December 2nd. Yep. I don't know whether there was any of this that anyone wanted to touch on briefly.
Me.
Any of these June topics, Bandio?
Sio June. Nafikiri January mpaka June.
Yeah.
You can say kwanza super proud na product ambayo imetoka ndani ya OneMic show. Na nafikiri 2022 tume grow vibaya kwa namna nzuri. Kwa maana kwamba tumekuwa sana. Tumemove kutoka kwenye mazungumzo kwenda mpaka kwenye we talk about this kwenye meetings zetu, call for action and all this stuff. Kwa nafikiri approach yetu imekuwa nzuri sana. Tumetoka kuwa watu wa just current affairs zinazotokea Kenya. Leo hii kuna watu wengi wanakwenda kusikiliza shows kama podcasts kuliko ambavyo ilikuwa mwanzo. Zamani ilikuwa ni just live stream and you go. Lakini leo hii kuna mtu anakwenda anasikiliza show kuhusiana na mambo ya infertility. Kuna mtu anapona leo. Watu wana share. Unajua? Nimepata leo tu kuna mtu ameniambia kwamba kulikuwa kuna group la journalist Tanzania ambao wamechukua sehemu ya content ya OneMic show kuhusiana na kuanguka kwa ndege ambao hawakuipata kokote Tanzania, wamepata kwenye the OneMic show.
Wow.
Tumekuwa na Ali Kiba amekuja hapa akazungumza ambavyo anafikiri kwamba pamoja na kwamba amekwenda nchi zote, amekwenda kwenye international radios na watu wengine, yet ilikuwa ni the best show ever. Tumemsikiliza Dr. amekuja hapa, tumepata topic mbalimbali. Kwangu mimi nafikiri 2022 tumeshoot sana, kwa maana kwamba kukua. Na appreciate sana uwepo wa watu walioko kwenye comment, wale ambao ni loyal followers. Fortunately hamna mtu anakuja hapa kwa ajili ya kupata hits. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
Tuliwahi kumhoji hapa Kansime, right? Na Kansime
Correct.
akasema kwamba yes, na nakumbuka kitu kimoja alisema kwamba ukitaka kufurahia maisha ni kile kitu ambacho the moment right? And that's the thing. Satisfaction imekuwa kitu cha kwanza ndani ya the One Mic Show. Kuhakikisha kwamba kila siku Omosh unasema kwamba we are here for you. Unajua listeners. Kwa tunapomaliza, as long as kulikuwepo listeners, we've done our job. Haya mengine. Lakini ukiangalia sasa hivi how much watu wanakwenda kuangalia show after.
Yes.
Watu 14
That's amazing.
kwenye live stream.
Yeah.
Watu 15,000
Yes.
kwenye YouTube, kwenye show. Wasinge share kama hakuna content. Kwa hiyo nafikiri sasa hivi tumefikia stage ambayo those 3 pillars ambazo nimekuwa nikizungumzia, educate, entertain, engage, zimekuwa super focus hapa. Wageni wamekuwa amazing, na and I hope and pray kwamba wale wasikilizaji wetu watakwenda kushare.
Yes.
Kwa sababu unajua katika dunia ni kama piece of puzzle. Sisi kuna mwingine analeta idea, watu wanakuwa studio, wanaleta wageni, wanawahoji. All you need to do is just to share.
Yes.
Kuna mtu ambaye atapona kesho kwa sababu umeshare content ya Dr. Omanu.
Yes.
Kuna mtu ambaye ataburudika kwa sababu ameangalia kitu fulani. And all you need is just to play your part and share. Kwa hiyo niseme kwamba mwaka huu nafikiri ni mwaka ambao nimeenjoy kuwa kwenye One Mic Show kuliko miaka yote 7 ambayo tumefanya kazi ndani ya kichumba.
Okay.
Nakumbusha tumekuwa hapa tangu 2015 tumefanya ndani.
Hapa Kilimanjaro.
Hapa ndani ya hii room.
Tumeanza
silikuwa tu hapa nini?
No, I remember the day when
tulianza 2015 tulikuwa tunakaa pale tuna hivi, baadaye tukaanza kurusha kwenye Facebook kwa simu ya kugeuza. Ukinyosha mkono wa kushoto unaonekana kulia. You know, we moved on.
Or before we figured out you can turn the camera.
Yes. Na kabla ya hapo tulikuwa tunarusha kwa kutumia simu bila hata kutoa sauti kwenye mixer.
Correct.
Yes. Kwa hiyo tulikuwa tunakaa kimya.
Yes.
Kwa sababu ukizungumza
unapata ambience ya studio.
Unajua ukikata mic umekata mic.
Yeah.
Mtu akipiga simu hasikiki.
Na one mic akishoot.
Kwa hiyo
funda wewe. Saitan.
Kwa hiyo niseme kwamba tumekuwa sana, lakini 2022 umekuwa mwaka bora zaidi. Lakini again, better sana anasema how sweet can the one be if you're not sharing with someone. Chochote kinachotoka humo kisingekuwa na maana bila wasikilizaji.
Okay.
Kwa hiyo it doesn't matter. Wewe uliyeko wako, please jua kabisa kwamba you are the best thing One Mic imepata kuwa na wewe, na ndio maana tuko hapa kwa ajili yenu. So thank you kwa recap ya miezi 6, because it's because of you. Kila mtu yuko hapa because of you. Watu wanaacha familia wamekuwa hapa kwa ajili ya kufanya hii show. And kwangu mimi, like I say, wala najua hapa mimi kwangu ndio bar, ndio rehab, ndio kila kitu. So
ndio edibles
zangu hapa.
Ndio kila kitu.
Yep.
Aya. Okay, asante sana for that good review, Mubelwa. And of course, to me, these are the people I value the most. The people who stay with us on the live stream.
Yes.
Those are the people that we value the highest, because you're the first ones to let us know hapa menda combo hapa you need to do this.
Hata leo tumechelewa kwenda live.
Yes.
Slay aliuliza.
Oh yes.
Kwani leo vipi?
And we love that. And
yes.
we love that.
And they're right, because their time is precious.
Yes.
So if
because people plan for this, so we also have to respect their time.
We have to respect the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with that said, this is it for this. I don't know whether to call it the hour or the 2 hours. I want to thank the audience for their honest contribution, but I want you to stay tuned because we're not going anywhere. Uno, real quick, remind the viewers what we'll be talking about in the social sports segment. Uno.
We are going to be recapping the World Cup 2022 Qatar.
Yes.
We are going to be going back at it again, because guess what? November 20th, it starts. And by the way, si wamefanya ile kitu inaitwa kerea gotire johi
wameban Keroro.
Wameban Keroro. Yes.
And then like we also want to hear the ladies' experience, because World Cup sometimes to us guys it's everything, but we also want to hear the experience, how they experience the World Cup, what it means to them.
They hand over the remote.
Yes.
They hand over the remote.
Yes.
And then,
yes, and then also the US experience, and for people who remember the first time they watched the World Cup, tell us about your first time when you watch your World Cup, and your first US experience with the World Cup and how it has changed over time.
Yes.
So that's generally what we're going to be talking about in the social segment. So keep it locked and stay tuned. And please remember to share our live stream, like our Facebook page. To those who are streaming on YouTube, I think this is the point we say goodbye if we are live on YouTube. But you can come join us on the Facebook live stream. And please remember to like, subscribe, and follow on all our social media handles and keep spreading the word. Mimi ni mtangazaji wenu Ali Badawy, aka Mjukuu wa Masai, and you're still tuned in to the OneMic show.
Ladies and gentlemen, mabibi na mabwana, it's the People's Kamkunji. 2022, wrapping it up. Wrapping it up. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that the People's Kamkunji is in full effect. DJ Machachari Boda Boss Kathe. Twende kazi.